All right, so today is the day I'm finally gonna start building my outdoor kitchen. Don't know if it's really an outdoor kitchen, it's just kind of a structure to cover up my barbecues and smokers. I've been talking about this for well over a year and I'm finally gonna pull the pin. So we got a good weekend coming, nice weather. Gathered all my wood this week from my neighbor who, lucky for me, has a wood mill. So I got some nice 6x6 cedar posts. I built this very elaborate drawing that I'm gonna use. And I really don't know what to expect. I don't know if this is technically called timber frame. I'm just gonna have big beefy pieces of wood interlocked together and hopefully it looks nice. What's the worst that can happen? It's a beautiful day and I'm building. Here we go. We used to have a large hot tub off the back of our deck. And as years went on, we didn't use it as much and we eventually got rid of it, which was fine by me because I've been eyeing this concrete pad as an outdoor barbecue pit for a while now. I've been slowly working on the backyard for the past couple of years. I put a fire pit up top, built some stairs to it. I'm getting ready to plant some blueberry bushes and some pear trees in the back. But the outdoor kitchen is going to be the centerpiece and likely get the most use. After I get the grass all cleaned up from the slab so I can actually see my corners, I double checked that the pad was poured square, which it was. So it makes it very easy to reference my saddles that are going to go in to hold my posts. Now I'll be able to use my corners to lay my post base out nice and square. Now before I get too far into this build and forget, I really need your guys' advice here. I'm looking at getting a new smoker and with all the options out there, I'm really not sure which one to pick. I want a Kamado style and there's so many brand names out there that honestly is just confusing me. So if anybody's got some experience out there with a great smoker, egg style, leave them in the comments below. Let me know how long you've had it and if you'd buy it again. All right, now I'm gonna stand my post up and I'm gonna put the side beams on first because, well, side beams, side headers, whatever you wanna call them, because then the next ones are gonna sit on top of that and it's gonna give me a little more headspace since my deck's up off the pad. So I'm doing this as one person, so I'm gonna have to get a little creative, but I'm probably just gonna attach a piece here to the existing deck to hold it straight while I level up the other one. I do most of my work solo, and it's not that I don't like people, it's not that I enjoy the struggle. I'm just kind of impatient and spontaneous, so I like having my own schedule. But sometimes it definitely pays to have an extra set of hands. And yes, this is a clever little segue to promote a new tool that I've got. The X-Tape 1 by Milesy. It has tons of features that you'll see me using throughout this video, such as this angle finder that I use as a level. Once set up and referenced on a flat surface, you can use this to find an angle or make sure a project is leveled. And it fits nice and easily in your pocket, so when you're struggling by yourself, it's the perfect tool. It's got a nice sturdy tape that extends up to 12 feet and stays extended. And for measurements over 12 feet, it's got a laser that can reach up to 330 feet and it's accurate to within 1/16 of an inch. Now, if I'm being honest, getting a measuring tape with an instruction manual felt a little weird. I could definitely see the benefits to some of the features, but was it worth the time to learn it? But right out of the box, I was able to measure and read the screen very easily, and with a little practice, I found all the features were right there and easy to use, and the instruction guide was a big help. The Milesy X-Tape 1 has a very bright green laser, which is great for layouts and for marking wider boards. One feature that quickly became my favorite on this build was the memory function. You simply press a button and it saves your measurements. I've got like 30 saved measurements in here that I could go back and look at. I simply press the memory button on the side and I can see the measurements I've just taken. So if you're like me and tend to tackle bigger projects by yourself, give the Milesy X-Tape 1 a try. I'll leave a link in the description below. Alright, so now I got two posts up. I'm going to put one of my cross beams on and I want to notch it out so I can recess the post in about an inch, maybe an inch and a half. So I'm going to have to probably put a spacer along my saw here so that I can get the blade the same depth all the way across, that inch, inch and a half. And I'm just going to take multiple passes and then clean it up with a chisel. I just realized that my stop on my saw won't let me cut that shallow. So I need to come up with something to put here to stop it so that every time I make a cut it's the same. So maybe I can find something to fit down in here. I found a couple high strength magnets from an old project, so I think that'll do the trick. Perfect. Can't say I'm overly confident about this, but too far in now to stop. I'm not. I'm just being stubborn. I think that'll do it. Right. I grossly underestimated how much work this was going to be. Nice. All right, round two.
Are you just trying to make me all excited with your hat on backwards?
I'm putting that in the bloopers. Yes, I am.
No, you are not.
I totally am. Copyright, Backroad Bill. So this next part just goes to show that having a solid set of plans can really benefit a person. So I had these on and I thought they looked pretty good, but then I was like, hey, if I slide this beam all the way forward, I can increase my roof space by about 8 inches. But no big deal, I just removed the screws, slid it forward, and then screwed it back down. Next I had to figure out the pitch of my roof. And I didn't have a predetermined pitch that I wanted to use, I just wanted to see how it looked and make sure it was steep enough so that snow didn't build up. I haven't done this work a ton, and I don't do it near often enough to justify learning out how to do this with math and geometry, so I just take a scrap piece of wood and make a template, and I use a small level to make a mark on my template, and that'll give me my angle. And I want to leave a 2-inch gap between the two rafters so that I can slide in my ridge. So I realized that in order to get the design I want, I need this very steep angle, 70 degrees. And I won't be able to cut that on my miter saw the way I've been cutting it. So the only option I have, not the only one, but the one I think is going to work best, is going to be to try my track saw. Now, I've only got this dinky little 6.5 saw, so it's only going to cut down 2 inches. So I'm going to try to do it from both sides as close as I can, and then clean up the center 1.5 inches with a recip blade and likely some chisels. I'll try it on one. If it goes too horribly, I'll try to come up with something else. I'm sure somebody else here has a much brighter idea, but this is the only one I've got right now. my excitement to gain another 16 inches of roof space here, I failed to notice that now I've got no spot for my cross braces to reach this beam. And I don't know how I missed that on my very detailed drawings, but I did. But no big deal, I'll just unscrew these, slide them back over these posts, and start getting the gable ends together. So before I put the roof on, I'm gonna put my braces on, and that's gonna make sure everything stays nice and square, because I don't wanna put my roof on and then try to wrestle to make sure everything stays nice and straight with the braces. Oh, I forgot to do math. I've got to transfer this 2-foot mark to here and then measure the distance in between those. Dummy. There we go. That's gooder. Much gooder. All right, so now I'm gonna put my gable end together. And the only way I knew how to do that, I don't work with this stuff every day, so the rise and run or the slopes and stuff aren't my forte. But I marked it, made a template as you've seen, and I left 2 inches in the middle for my center rafter, if you wanna call it that, thingy to go through. That's the only way I knew that I could get a nice tight fit in the middle and keep all my corners even out at the end. I think it's gonna work. All right, so I built myself another template so I can figure out my rafters. And I know it's the same angle up here as I've been cutting, but I want to, instead of using strap, I'm gonna use full 2x4s going this way, and I just don't wanna see the ends of them out over this. It might be a little nitpicky, but I don't, so I want them to set down in here. So I'm gonna be using true 4-inch studs. So I need this to be down 2 inches, and to get the right angle, it's not going to be touching this beam here, which is okay because I've been trying to come up with a way to keep the rain out but let smoke out. So wherever I have a rafter end, I'm just going to put a block under, and then that's going to leave a nice little air gap between all of them when I have a nice long smoke going on. Well, with all that moving back and forth with the end beams, I lucked out. I'm not gonna have to cut a single sheet lengthwise. I'm gonna have a nice 2.5-inch overhang on all sides because I'm just slightly under 9 feet of roof space, so perfect.
Alright, so now it's starting to actually look like an outdoor kitchen with the roof on. So I'm pretty excited to get the 3 walls up and see how the final project looks. I cut a couple boards to the height that I wanted the wall to end, and I just clamped them to the outsides of the uprights. This way I can just lay a 2x4 across and have it exactly where I want it. And I'm going to miter the ends of my 2x4s too, just to give it a cleaner look around the edges. And I'm going to finish the walls off by adding a nice little 5-inch ledge along the outside. And what better way to finish off a beautiful outdoor kitchen than with a nice set of lights to set that mood for grilling.